so many of you that came out. Thank you, I appreciate it. If any of you have been following MacRostie for some years, you would know this is my second time back with them. I was originally here in July 2021 with my Quilling Life in Paper show, if any of you got to see that. It has evolved quite a bit from then until now. But even at that time, that was my first solo show ever that I had with MacRostie. And it was in my work in the paper quilling. And at the time, I had only been quilling for 2 years, and now I'm pushing 6 years. I haven't, I get that question a lot. How long have you been doing this? Not that long. Like, in perspective, I've only been doing the paperwork like 5 or 6 years. I've been doing the art itself for many years, but it's like my background was in painting and like pastels until I discovered paper quilling on Pinterest one day. If any of you guys know like Pinterest, you can get carried away on that. And it was just a casual, and I seen this little quilled flower that just caught my eye. I was like, what is this? So I ordered just a very basic pack of paper that you could get in 100 strips of paper, and I didn't even order the tool at the time because I didn't want to overcommit to something that I wasn't gonna, do or get serious about. So quilling comes with a tool, and all it is a little stick with a slit on the end of it, and that's how you curl your paper. And I didn't want to buy that $3 tool, overcommit to the art. So I did my entire first project in like a toothpick that I cut the tip on. I cut a tip in it and I rolled out my paper that way. And after I did that first project, I was like, I think it's like I can get the tool now to do my next one. And it's like I have only progressed through the years. This is primarily what I put a lot of my creative focus in and my creative energy these days is in my work in paper quilling, just because it brings me the most joy. I love the color that I can get, the dimensionality in it that I just can't get in painting and pastels like I did once before. So it's just evolving because I'm putting so much work. This particular body of work is central around my work in like people and just scaling the possibility in that. Like I haven't done such a large body consistently and then so much complexity in each piece either. So it has been a collection that has taken a lot of time to build, a lot of patience, a lot of inspiration, determination. As I think the most common question that I do get is, how long does one of these take you? And I'm like, I wish so badly I could give you guys right down to the minutes and the seconds of what one of these takes to do, but it's not that simple. It's like a puzzle for me. I'm a mother. I have 3 kids. They're pretty young still, so they're with me a good majority. So my free time is tied still, which is why I love the quilling so much, because I can leave it like a puzzle where I can come and go to it. There's no cleanup of paints. There's nothing to be spilled. It's just paper and glue where I can put one piece in, one piece. I can come and go through the day. So it's like that's how I accomplish my pieces, just a little bit here and there. Sometimes I can get them done in a couple weeks. Sometimes they go several months before I finish them. It just depends. But many hours collectively goes into each one piece. I do a lot of the work in the morning, a lot of the work at night, just wherever I can carve it out until they're finished. And then you see like what becomes of them. I do not cut my own paper. That's the second favorite question people ask. Do you cut your own paper for this? No, I am patient, but I am not that patient. This craft, it's known as paper quilling. It is not as common in the United States as it is in some of the other countries like Asian, Brazil, Indian countries. That's where this art form is more known. It's sort of a cousin to origami. And so a lot of this supplies, it's more known in those countries. So I do a lot of my ordering through overseas, but you can get the paper pre-cut specifically for this craft, for this art form. So you can get them in as small. I use 5 millimeter thickness. That's just my favorite size. I don't go bigger, I don't go smaller, but it goes all the way down to the thinness of a 1 millimeter strip of paper that you can fold and curl and create with. But that's too flimsy for me. I don't have that kind of patience to do it with, So it's like, but the tools themselves for quilling, it's very basic. It's glue and paper for me and something to curl it with. And even half the time, I don't even need that. It's folding and manipulating it in other ways, So it's like, I know there is like a lot of questions that I could go on, but for me, it's sometimes easier just to open it up to you guys and ask your questions directly to me, and I'll do my best to answer them, because everyone's got different things they want to know. So I'm going to open that up to you guys. Anybody that does have questions. Yes?
Are you drawing these images first?
Yes, so see, that's exactly, you guys direct me what you want to know. Yeah, so that's my background in art prior. That's, I feel like, an advantage I have in something like quilling is that I have a background in art, in painting, drawing, that helps me in how I bring these forth. I draw everything out. I call what I call color blocking, where I put like marker mainly or paint and just fill in the white space of the image, and then I just start putting my paper on top of that layer by layer. What it looks like in its two-dimensional, just bare bones form compared to what it looks like finished is a complete night and day. It's so flat and so like unalive that it amazes me like what the paper does for bringing it to life, and its dimensionality and colors, just things you can't achieve with, like what I can't achieve with paint like I can with paper. So I just keep sticking with it. And there's just so much still that time is my issue. There's so much still that I'm like, it's just getting the time to bring it forward, like technique and different ways of layering yet where it's almost completely three-dimensional. It's just time that I need to make it happen, So, yes, sir.
Is each one of these is a story?
Yes.
Yeah, and how is it a story for you, or what goes on while you're doing it, or what? So
the concepts, where do you get these concepts is what you're wondering. Where are these concepts coming from?
They're wonderful.
Yeah, they are concepts from my inner being, my deepest inner being, my mind's eye. They are divinely inspired, I say, and they just come forth like that, I see something very concretely. And in terms of interpreting it, it's open to interpretation. These stories are going to speak to you exactly the way they're meant to speak to you. And I was just telling you right here, you sit with them long enough, they will speak to you. They will tell you their story. They will, yeah. And yeah, so it's like, I don't want to ruin the story because they'll tell it to you. You know what I mean? And so it's like they are open to interpretation. The story will speak to you exactly as it's meant to speak to you, Yes, ma'am.
What kind of paint do you use?
Paint do I use? I don't use much for paint at all are you saying for the color blocking?
Yes.
Just acrylic because it dries super duper fast. And that's why I use marker even over paint, because I don't want to wait for anything to dry. Because it's so, the color blocking is so unimportant, you're not seeing any of it. All it does is literally to keep the white from showing through the back, so I want something that's very quick and that's going to dry very, very fast. And so I generally use marker or acrylic paint for that.
So you're saying that when you put a piece like this together, you say for instance this one, it's quite complex. So you shade that all in with the basic color and then you work on top of that?
Yeah, are we looking at this one?
Yes.
So the grass where it's green and the water where it's blue. And I colored all that with just a green marker underneath it, so you couldn't see any of the white show through, Because if you don't color block it, that will pet peeve me forever. You'll see it, and it does mess with your eye on seeing that. And I find that just quick color blocking solves that very easily, just with a mark, and just cover the white with whatever color you're,
So you're doing it intuitively as you go.
Yes. And I'm I don't like wasting time in areas that are just don't matter. The drawing itself, if you were to see the drawing before I ever even put a piece of paper on it, you'd say, this girl calls herself an artist? You would say that. Because I'm I can draw better, but I'm I just don't want to, because it's just time that is not going to serve me, in this process. So I do a very quick drawing, just something that my mind can work within, and I kind of create what I would say is my own paint by number, if you will. Or you know what I mean, in my color blocking. I'll say I'm doing greens here, I'm doing blues here, I'm doing purples here. And I just cover that white space. And then in terms of all the shading and the values, that's all intuitive. That's all as I'm going, how I bring my colors. It's just a flat orange. But the way all the tones of orange come into it is just as I build it with the paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, ask away. That's why I gave it to you.
Different, I'm struck by the radiance of the pictures, the brilliance of it, and I just want to somehow compare it with paint, oil paint or acrylic paints. It seems to me very different, and I'm not questioning good or bad.
No.
I'm just thinking, could you say a little bit about the differences? Because these are, that's what strikes me, not just the story.
Like the difference in working with the medium or the difference in the result the medium
I'm
gives?
interested in the result, because that's where I'm at.
Yeah, so like painting, it's like I have paintings from earlier in my artistic career before I ever even discovered. That might be fun to even sometime just see like, you know, my paint versus my pastel and where it all stands.
Do they look like this?
I mean, I feel like my work in general, even my paintings, back when I haven't painted a painting in a long time, I'm gonna tell you, not since I did Quilling, but I got the reference that my work was very folky. If however you wanna interpret the word folky, which I didn't take that as a bad thing. That was actually like maybe to me it made a lot of sense on describing my work. It is like a folky like art, the form, like, and so I'm like, I feel like it's very true to my style, still of my style, but it's so much more evolved. You know, the paint, no matter how many layers of paint I can put on something, I cannot get the same effect as I can with paper. And the vibrance of the color and the dimensionality and just the natural shadows it creates all on its own with the layers of it. And I'm finding the more work I do, the many hours I spend in it, the many different ways I can manipulate and expand on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's just like a lot of time spent in the craft. Like I have, you know, it definitely does drive me to like, you know, tread the water and see what's possible with that. Has any of you, yes sir?
Do you ever have to put it in reverse and pull things?
Oh my gosh, so that is my biggest bugaboo with paper quilling. It is not very forgiving. Like, I can have 6 hours of commitment on this thing, and there's been numerous times I've stepped away from it and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. And the only way to fix it is literally take my X-Acto knife and chisel my 6 hours out of existence and start over again. Whereas like painting, just paint over it. You know what I mean? Drawing, just erase it. It's not that easy with paper. You have to chisel out your mistake and like start all over again. So I try to do it right the first time. Yes, sir.
Are there a lot of artists in this field who do the same work?
I literally, in my own personal like field of acquaintances, I do not know another artist that is like that does paper quilling. I have my Instagram. That would be my only form of social media. I'm terrible about social media. I don't even lie about it because I'm like, I live in Outer North. I have no internet at my house. Our cell signal is absolutely terrible. To like navigate the internet regularly and say I gotta seek that out. I'm terrible about doing that all the time. One thing at a time. I tell myself, I'm like, you make the art first, and we'll deal with the rest as it comes. You know, and so it's you got to remind me of your question. I get so sidetracked sometimes.
Are there any other artists that you
Yes, and so it's like going back to my Instagram. I was just saying, the only people that I know are the ones I engage with on my Instagram. But like I said, many of them are overseas. I don't actually know them personally to like exchange experience with, or you know. So no, I don't really. I know of some other artists worldwide that are kind of well known for their ability in the craft. But I don't know anybody personally with any kind of. I see greeting cards around once in a while at craft fairs and stuff, and in the quilling. But that's the most that I've seen. I don't know the artists. That's what I was going to ask you right before you asked me. Have any of you guys had seen paper quilling prior to this? How many of you have seen it? That was not my work.
So at Frame Up in town here, they have offered some quilling greeting cards pretty regularly.
Okay, so some of you, have any of you here today that have never seen or heard paper quilling until you came to this exhibit today? So this is your first experience?
We have a Korean daughter who took to this.
Really?
She
Okay.
loves it, and she spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah, see, so when it speaks, it speaks. When it speaks to somebody, it does. And so it's like, I would love to like build that, but I just don't know anybody that does. That's why I've been teaching classes on it a little bit, trying to bring it to the public more over near me a little bit closer. Yes.
Could you teach a class right here?
Yeah, I mean, if I can teach a class, yeah, I'm just like, but understand, like, teaching the classes are very basic beginner classes, but it's
Yes.
still a wonderful, like, the way I teach is still, you get a wonderful finished result with, like, no prior experience. But it is something cheap enough, I say, if you're curious about just trying your hand at it. Like, some crafts can get expensive. And I feel like this is something where I can, like, justify, like, affording to do it at my rate, you know what I mean? And that's what I appreciate about it, too, you know?
Nice.
And so it's like, if you want to explore your curiosities, and it's not going to break the bank to do it, you know what I mean?
Can we take pictures of what you
As many as you want. Yes, absolutely. It's like, that's why I all this time and effort is for you guys. It really is. It's for you. It's to bring you the experience, to bring you the joy, to bring you whatever you get out of it. You know, it would be meaningless to me if I didn't have the opportunity to share it with all of you. Do you know what I mean? So it's all of you that drives me to do it and share it and hope that these stories resonate. Thank you guys, that's really sweet. That they resonate with you and speak to you guys on your soul level, because I do truly believe this show is called Portrayals in Paper, Tales of Overcoming. Because every single one of these stories is its own tale. It's its own tale in some form or another. Like, if we are all bonded in one thing, it is our human experience, you know, and our trials and our overcomings and the way, you know, we're all bonded that way. And that's why I truly do believe that there is a piece in here for everybody. I will speak to everybody differently. You'll get something different out of it.
So did you know a person that fit each
No,
other?
these are not necessarily, like, not in the physical existence. No, like, these are definitely characters within my mind, you know, but they're real characters, you know. So it's like they speak their story, and it's the story within them that is the power, you know, of it. And they're inspired, you know. I dig them up from my own, you know, my own existence, my own reality, and what I'm going through, and I connect to it all to bring these different images, you know, life, you know.
Beautiful.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I love to ask, there's too many of you guys standing here right now, but I do love to ask if there's like any of them that just absolutely stuck out to you.
Oh, yeah.
Point them out to me, one if you guys know. This is my favorite question. Which one stood out to you? Point one, yeah.
That one.
The artist for you?
Yeah, and it's partly because of the image that he's painting on the canvas.
The way it's,
Yeah, I mean, so it really,
the tide's turning.
yeah. But it's
It's
really,
coming back at him now.
so the dimensionality that you're working with really fits.
Yeah. The 3D within the 3D
Right.
aspect of it. Yeah, that's cool. Which one else? Tell me, share it.
The second chance one, the wolf's expression in the eyes are so,
This is my sister's most favorite. The shepherd is her favorite. Yeah? Yeah? I'll let her know. She had some agreement on that.
The one that looks like Ezekiel and
The Angels Among Us?
Yeah.
The Angels Among Us, yeah, mine's fine.
That's yours too? Oh my gosh.
She saw that.
That's my favorite. This is it, you guys. I love that. This is how you gift me, is sharing that with
But
me.
you know, she told me, and I understand the story, she said she thought it was Ezekiel and the ravens, but those are not ravens, and that's not a thing.
That's your interpretation. See, that's how that spoke to you. That's the beauty of the work. That's the beauty of the work. It speaks to you as it's meant to speak to you.
The forager.
The Curtis, the craftsman there,
Yes.
yes. They all have names too. I've named them all. They all will have names as long as they come into existence.
So the great grandmother with the spider at her shoulder, that's my grandkids always say, my grandma is a spider's friend of the spider.
See, that one speaks to you, doesn't it? They will resonate with you. They will speak to you exactly, and you'll get what you're meant to get out of them. I do believe that, and that is one thing that drives me every day, every hour to see them to completion, because I do believe so deeply in the connection to be made somewhere. You know, that's art. That's the beauty of art.
Mirrors for people.
Yes. They've been for me. You know what I mean? And that's what I hope to now go do your work with whomever else you have your story to share with. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I noticed in some of them that in the art, the images were talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like those two bartenders, they were vying for that guy's attention.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Sit quietly, sit quietly, sit still, and hear them speak, because they will. They will.
I love the librarian.
The librarian.
I love books and the fantasy.
Right there in the tree with the, yep. That's one of my most recent ones that I finished there.
How long did that take?
That one, that was like, I started in the summertime, and then I just finished it up when the winter started again, so I had a little bit of a break between finishing that one. So I don't have a real great, accurate idea, but that one took me at least a month of good, steady work.
It evokes that whole idea of storybook and how books.
Yeah, I have like just concepts on concepts of like coming out of that box. You know, it's time to do it all. You know, because it is like, do them satisfactory and do them in detail. It's like I don't rush through it. You know, to do good work, it does take time. You know, there's no rushing through it.
You don't sell these though, I noticed.
Well, not this body particularly. There isn't a print. There's print available for each one of these. It's not to say they won't be for sale at some point. It's just a brand new body that I'm still, you know, sharing, and it's not to say that they aren't or won't be. It's just like for right now, this is just where I'm at with them. You know, just trying to share them before they do hopefully disappear and find new homes and find their place in the world wherever they go. You know, wherever they be. So, you know. Any other? Yeah.
I think I have several favorites, but one of them is the violinist. I feel like I had an experience in which a musician seemed to be charming the animals around him when he was playing a busker, and that.
See, there's fantastical elements in this. There's fantastical elements in every one of them. Like that's what I say. It's a mix between realism with a touch of the surrealism in each of them, and it's this touch of surrealism that I am very adamant on including in these new works in this body. Because it's like, it's all real, you know what I mean? It's all real to some degree, you know what I mean? It's all in our interpretation of it, you know? So it's like that connects to you for a reason, you know? I believe it does. So it's like, cause it's like you know, it's fantastical, but is it? You know? You know?
Are you gonna stay with people?
You know what? I told myself when I started this body of work, which began with him in the corner, that I was just gonna go until I felt like I was at the end of that. And I just don't feel like I'm at the end of it yet. So yes, in terms of making more work that suits what you're looking at here, yeah, there's still a good handful to come to this body, I feel like, before I venture on into the next body. You know, this one I wouldn't say is quite complete yet, but it's rounding, you know what I mean? It's rounding the corner. And when it's done, and where I go from there with the next body, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just play it out as I'm inspired, you know?
What drives your decision making if you have like more than one idea?
Which I do first?
Yes.
Oh, Yeah, isn't that the bane of my existence sometimes? Like, I have 3 works mocked up, all ready to go, like in my mind. I want to do them all. Sometimes I will start all 3 of them at the same time and just work on them all to satisfy my mind. You know what I mean? I'll do like a week on this one and I'll switch over just so I can see them all coming into existence. Because when an idea is born in my mind, it'll just drive me mad until I see it, like in the physical, you know, where I need to start them all. If I feel that compelled, then I will. You know, sometimes it takes me a while. And then there's nothing like that. It's like I want so badly to see them finish. That's what keeps me working on them. You know what I mean? To see them finish. Because truly, until I put the last piece of paper in place, I can pick it out with my eye that it's not finished. You know what I mean? I can see where that one piece of paper needs to go still. And until it's in place, the piece is not complete. And I see that. And the second it is, it's like, oh, I know it's done. It's like this feeling that I'm like, it's done. And then it's like I move on to the next one. I'm instantly ready to do the next one because they're just coming at me. Like they're like, knock knock, let us out. So that's what it is. So here they are. Me and all my friends. So the backing is called foam core board. It is the only backing I build on. I started my first project with just paper, a good heavy duty paper. But with the weight of the paper and the glue, it warps just horribly, and there's no straightening it out. And so then I tried a piece of wood, but but I felt like the wood was not giving enough to the project because I use a lot of push pins like you use in sewing, keep fabric.
Yes.
I use a lot of those to keep paper in place while it dries, like little bits. And the foam board is the easiest. It's the least resistant, and it doesn't warp. Nothing like paper does when that glue is like dried on it. It just stays. It holds. It's more durable. And I don't veer from it. That's all I do on it now is the foam core board.
How do you keep it so clean?
Well, it's not clean all the time. So I finish the piece, and then I kid you not, I cut with an X-Acto knife all of it out because the background gets dirty, it's gluey, gets messy, marker lines, and I cut it all out, precision, and then I glue it on a clean one, so you don't have all that mess.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd say that X-Acto knife is like the hardest part of the job. That's the most, because that's. Do you get carpal tunnel? No, I don't get carpal tunnel at all unless I have to cut. That's the hardest part when I do that, in terms of like physical strain of any sort. So, yeah, that's how I keep it clean though. Definitely, it's necessary. It'd be really messy otherwise.
You buy yards of that stuff.
Of the foam board? Yeah, Hobby Lobby, they know I'm good for it. Yeah, I'm like, hey, like, can I get like the customer, like the bulk order discount or something here? Like as much as I come in and get, because that's all I use. I don't use canvas, paper, nothing, just the foam board for all of it. And then my paper. So it's like, that's what I like about it, right? The supplies are straightforward, it's simple. I don't have to keep track of all these.
In the same size?
Yes, yep, size and the paper too. I don't mess with different paper, just the 5 milliliter, because then everything's uniform. It's like I have all the same size and the colors all the time. Nothing's mixed and matched. It keeps it all straight.
Very impressive.
No, I appreciate you guys more than you know.
I mean, beautiful.
I hope this isn't an indelicate question, but everything here is not for sale. Yeah, I love coming to the MacRostie. I'm super cheap in a lot of ways, and I'm never going to buy anything at the MacRostie. I'm not. I'm just because
appreciate you. Yeah,
I
be real.
But I love it. I always feel bad about that, but I'm rarely going to buy things. I'll put it that way. Maybe not never. But I come and I look and not for sale, and I hear you saying, oh yeah, I just want you to enjoy it, and it's like, wow, that's seems like quite a commitment that you could put this much time into all these things. Most people, I was assuming if you put that much time into it, you'd be wanting to monetize it somehow. And
I think everybody does, right? But at the same time, I know that if I made that my priority, if I made that my driving force behind making my art, you would never see this body.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would never see this body. You would never see this. And so it's like, for me, I have to do my work and do it passionately, do it to 100% of my being. I do it for the love of it, first and foremost. And truly, to bring it to you, to share the experience with you. And I do believe in the power of these stories. And I believe if I don't make a cent ever on any of it, it doesn't mean that I won't change a view or change a perspective in a way that's more blessing than any amount of money you're going to put on it. Of course, I would love to make a more comfortable living on it. But if I never did, I wouldn't lose any sleep about it at night. And it would not stop me from making more art. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I get that we are all living in a, material world, but it's like, I do it because I love it. And it's like, this body too it's like, it's an unraveling story, and it's brand new. You guys are looking at most of these pieces here. I would say 2/3 in this room right now have not even graced a human eye outside of my own. Yeah, this is the first time they're being seen. This is the first time they're being shared with the public. You're seeing them for the very first time. They haven't been on social media. I haven't posted them anywhere on Instagram or Facebook. Like, they're brand new to the human eye, and so it's like, that's part of it too, is just giving them the opportunity to be shared first. You know what I mean?
These are like your babies.
Yeah, it's just it's more important to me to get that out there at this point, and it's like, if you make that your number one, it's like, I just wouldn't look at it the same. I wouldn't enjoy it the same. I wouldn't be inspired to do it the same. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like a lot of people could agree with that in its own right. It's like, so if it's meant to be whatever it's meant to be, it will find its way into that path, and whenever, however, right? you know, and it's like.
Maybe you should at least pass around a hat, then you could have at least a crust of bread and a cup of tea at the end of the night.
Well, what do you mean? I have a glass of wine right there. It's all good, right? It's like, I'm pretty simple, like I said. Like, my lifestyle, the way I live, I don't need much. Like, I don't. I'm very simple.
You're talking to the choir.
Yeah, so, you know what I mean? So it's like, if your mind is simple and your needs are simple, it's like, you can go a long ways in life.
Absolutely.
You know, just
Yeah.
on your, you know, just in that regard, you know, so it's like,
Thank you.
for me, I have no idea where it's going or what it's doing or like even like, you know, but I still make it because I feel just driven to make it, compelled to make it. And when these stories come, when these visions come, and they come so strongly to me that it's like, I have to do it. You know what I mean? I have to do it. You know, it's like, it's not even a choice. It's like, do it, you know, and no matter what comes of it. Whether it sits in your closet the rest of your life, do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what drives me, you know, and it's not to say that they won't be for sale at some point, but like I said, they're just making their debut right now, and there is an original size print that goes with every single one of that is for sale, you know, and wherever they're meant to go, they'll go in time, you know, they'll find their homes, for sure. But, yeah, thank you guys.